Adebijam. You do know that health is wealth, and that is why we always ensure that right here information is key, because we also believe that knowledge is power. There is no type of wealth you're looking for that supersedes the wealth that is your health. And that is why we'll be talking about something that the world pauses to also commemorate or to remember those who have fallen, to also raise awareness about a situation where we have, as at the year 2020, our health commissioner, our health minister in the person of Mr. Ehanire, Osage Ehanire, came out to say that we have over 20 million Nigerians living with chronic hepatitis. And that is why we decided, 28th of July, every year, people, the whole world as a whole just pauses to talk about this. And we need to talk about this right here on Your Health 360. With me today in the studio is Dr. Philip. He's here with us. And he will be talking to us about hepatitis. What is new? What are the current trends about hepatitis? What's going on about it? And I want it to be really interactive, so we'll be taking calls even earlier than we usually do today, because it is alarming. 20 million Nigerians, over that, living with hepatitis. It is something that we need to talk about. Dr. Philip, is always great to have you. Of course, those who have heard Dr. Philip before, you know that he is a PRO of the Nigerian Resident Doctors Association Kaduna chapter. So it's good to have you here, Dr. Philip. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you. Thank you for coming in. Let's talk about hepatitis. The year 2021, the world is saying hepatitis cannot wait. That's the theme of this year. And we've waited long enough. A lot of us have, not been on top of this matter. And that is why we need to talk about it. Let's first get the basic definition of hepatitis from you.
Okay, thank you very much. Indeed, like you have said, hepatitis is a debilitating disease and cannot wait. However, for those of my listeners out there, hepatitis refers to the inflammation of the liver. Simple put, is the inflammation of the liver. Of course, it would be worthy of note that there are several causes of this inflammation of the liver. That's what we'll come to talk about later.
It's okay. All right, we're just trying to adjust some stuff here. Just pardon us. The doctor is still here trying to do some stuff, and then So we're live on Facebook, just so you know. We're live on Facebook. You can go on Facebook and check us out. So, doctor, you were saying it's the inflammation of the liver.
Yes.
Yeah.
The liver from whatever causes, and which I said we'll talk about later, because there are viral causes and even non-viral causes. Okay, well, if I will quickly dash into that, hepatitis virus actually can be caused by viral origin. We call the hepatitis viruses. Okay, there are several types of these viruses.
Mm-hmm.
It has been known that there are hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. And even there is one they call hepatitis G, hepatitis DT. Well, there are other non-hepatotrophic viral cause.
Doctor, softly on the big grammar.
Okay,
what's hepatotrophic?
What I mean is that there are other viruses that can cause hepatitis, not different from the usual one, hepatitis A, B, C, and E.
Right.
And those can include the cytomegalovirus, the herpes simplex virus, the Epstein-Barr virus, and even the adenoviruses. So these are the viral causes of hepatitis. However, we have non-viral causes of hepatitis. Alcohol can cause hepatitis. We have some toxins like the aflatoxins. They have also been implicated in the causative agents of hepatitis. Also, we can talk about um, uh, like I said, aflatoxins. They are toxins that can actually go and damage liver, causes inflammation. There are autoimmune diseases that have also been implicated in the causative agents of liver disease.
Go ahead.
Okay, so like I've mentioned, the viral causes, the non-viral causes, and all will lead to very debilitating or serious liver disease. The major thing to know is that uh, being infected with viruses is not the only issue. You know, the disease progressing to a chronic liver disease or becoming cirrhosed or cirrhotic liver or having uh, liver cancer is the major goal in treatment of this hepatitis. Other causes of liver damages. Okay, so I think we'll dwell more on the viral agents that are implicated in the causation of hepatitis. I will call them the viral hepatitis. Okay, the one we are most familiar with, I know you will say, is the hepatitis B and hepatitis C. Yes, of course, they have been known to have caused serious liver diseases, but however, hepatitis A, hepatitis D, hepatitis E are also there that causes fulminant hepatitis, or that could lead to acute hepatitis. In a nutshell, they all damages the liver one way or another.
What's fulminant? What do you mean by fulminant?
Fulminant is
yes.
a kind of an acute condition.
Okay.
Of sudden onset.
Comes up
Yes.
suddenly.
Yes.
Right. So when we're talking hepatitis, can you walk us through the stages, signs and symptoms, through the stages before it becomes a situation where we're talking life or death?
Okay. Generally, of course, we already know that there's an acute viral hepatitis, chronic viral hepatitis. They all have different presentation. But okay, for the purpose of understanding, I will just say we have different phases. We have the prodromal phase and we have the enteric phase. Just classify it broadly into those two. Those that come with those prodromal phase can present with fever, body weakness.
What did you call it? Prodromal.
Yes.
Okay.
It cannot, like I said, acute, chronic phases. Once we are at that early stages, it has not gone to a very severe cases like liver cirrhosis, liver failure, chronic liver diseases. There are some early telltale signs one will have. Although we cannot say, okay, those symptoms are strictly for hepatitis. Other conditions could present in that manner. And I was giving example as fever, nausea, vomiting, arthralgia, arthritis, pains around the right upper quadrant, that is the position of the liver, or position of the bigger or the larger lobes of the liver. So once you touch it, you feel pain in that area. Those are the early or prodromal symptoms you see. In the enteric phase, once it has progressed to chronic, you start seeing some symptoms as jaundice. Once jaundice start appearing, sometimes those symptoms, the prodromal phase symptoms, will start disappearing. Okay.
Before you move on, Doc, there was something you said. You said arthritis.
Yes. Yes, those are the
Really?
early signs and symptoms.
You start to have pains in your joints.
Pains in the joints, and body weakness, nausea, anorexia, and the rest. They are constitutional symptoms you will see with people also with viral hepatitis. Okay, but if you progress to those ecteric phase where you start seeing dark colored urine, jaundice, which is yellowish discoloration of the sclera or the eye, then it's a telltale sign that okay, this is going into the severe form, or is progressing into a more severe liver disease.
How long does it take from all those minor signs like uh, fever, arthritis, pain in the upper quadrants, you said, around the area where the liver is situated in the body? How long does it take for someone who is unaware, someone who doesn't even know that they have this disease? How long does it take from that stage to that stage where the other stage where you know that there's something wrong, the eyes are yellowing, the urine is dark yellow, the person just knows that all
Yeah.
isn't well? How long does it take?
Okay, I would say it takes about 6 months, because anything less than 6 months, you call it an acute phase, and it is in those phases you start seeing all those prodromal symptoms. But once it has migrated into a chronic phase, it occurs from 6 months and above. And I would say, in our environment, most people present very late. In short, accidentally, some people just walks into the hospital, get checked, and they will find out that they are positive for these viruses.
Okay.
And also, in children, that there was transmission from mother to child when giving birth, and they didn't know about the status. Most times, they progress into this chronic phase. So it's usually more than 6 months. If I
Right.
if I answer your questions correctly.
So is it at this 6 months timeline, kind of between 6 months and more, that one can start to run the risk of having serious liver damage that could even develop into liver cancer? Or would one have to have lived with that kind of situation for years?
Well, hepatitis, especially hepatitis B and C, most, if presented early and if found, because there are several tests you need to undergo to get to know that you're positive for these viruses. If known early, it can be treated, and I said the treatment, especially for hepatitis B, is actually not for cure. It is actually to reduce its progression into a more severe liver disease like liver cirrhosis or hepatocellular carcinoma. But most of our people in our environment, they present very late. They don't usually have this habit of going to the hospital and get checked for all these things. So most times you see them coming down with more severe symptoms. Already, jaundice is already developing. But however, I would target as a more acute condition occurring below 6 months with all those symptoms, and a chronic condition occurring after 6 months. But however, it doesn't mean that presenting after 6 months means you must have progressed into liver cirrhosis or hepatocellular carcinoma. No. Once you get to the hospital, there are various tests that are done, including checking the viral antigen, and even the antibodies are checked, and their liver function test too is done anywhere now. And once you do it, there are several parameters you tend to compare to see how severe the condition has been to. Like if you do liver function test, there are parameters like we call the aspartate transaminase, the alanine transaminase, the alkaline phosphatase. Those are the enzymes that are found in the liver. Once you see those enzymes deranged, there are values for them. It will give a telltale sign to the medical personnel that, okay, this is the issue, And also there are also proteins and other things that are produced, are synthesized by the liver. Once there is liver damage, you see there will be malfunction, or the synthesis will be impaired. Some proteins, albumin is there. Once it's decreased, of course, you know that there is an issue. There are also clotting factors that are found in the liver. Once you test maybe the prothrombin time and you discover that it's prolonged, you should know that, okay, there is a very severe condition going on.
A lot of these things we don't know, but bottom line is that test will show.
Very important.
That
it will
there's
show
a problem.
Yes, that there is a problem. It can also help to differentiate if you have gotten into the chronic stage or you are just at that acute stage. There is liver biopsy too out there, which helps to stage these diseases. And once you stage them appropriately, you can be able to treat. It's worthy of note that there are criteria for treatment of these diseases. It's not all, especially hepatitis B. Hepatitis B, like I said, does not have any cure, except that you suppress the progression of the disease into a more chronic stage. However, more recently that we know, hepatitis C is known to be cured. It's because of the sustained virological response of some of the antiviral agents. They call them the direct acting antiviral agents. They are currently available and are used to treat hepatitis C. So I would say they are a cure for hepatitis C, but on the other hand, hepatitis B has no cure. In such situation, you only treat in order to inhibit or decrease its progression into a more debilitating condition.
All right, we're beginning, like I said, I want this to be more interactive than ever. So we will be opening up the phone line soon. I know we're already receiving messages. I have one that says that I had a liver function test. It was high. I don't drink. I don't smoke. The hepatitis test itself was negative. What must have caused the liver problem?
Well, like I have said, it is actually not only viral hepatitis, viruses that causes liver diseases. There are other disease conditions that can actually cause liver disease. We, like I said, alcohol, you said you don't take alcohol. There are autoimmune diseases that are implicated. There are toxins, aflatoxins, some things you consume that can actually lead to liver damage. Okay, and also, I don't think if you go to the hospital, you will not get checked properly. Has this test been carried out appropriately in you? If not, there are what we call the viral DNA, which can be checked. If you have a false positive result here, you have to repeat it in order to be sure. Because what they will check in the hospital probably is the hepatitis B surface antigen that will be checked. There are other antigens that can be checked when you go for all these serological tests. Hepatitis B core antigen is there. That is hepatitis C antigen. We have hepatitis B E antigen. They are all there to be checked. But once you have to go to the hospital to make sure that all these parameters are present, so that you add 1 + 2 and make up a confirmed.
So in short, you
diagnosis.
just need to have a test so that you will know what kind of treatment will be appropriate.
Yeah.
All right, let's quickly open up the phone lines. I know we haven't talked about the most common ways in which these viruses are contacted. I'm sure you'll be telling us in the course of today, but the people need to speak with you because hepatitis is a problem. As a matter of fact, during the week, I heard of someone else who passed away because of this. And it is sad, especially knowing that it is something that can be, avoided totally or at least managed to give someone a good quality of life. And the lines are open, 081 40,000 989 and 070 989. Let's have you talk to the doctor directly this evening. All right, good evening. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. That call that got dropped.
Madam, a very good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome. Mr. Kure.
Good evening, doctor.
Yes.
Kure is the name.
You're welcome,
Yes.
Mr. Kure. Go ahead quickly.
Yes, I just want to ask 2 questions
Yes.
in respect of this hepatitis. I happen to have it, but as God will help me, I went through a series of tests. At the end of the day, it was cured. So I received the vaccination. The last question.
Was it a B or a C, if we might know, Mr. Kure?
It's C.
C, okay.
It's C.
Okay.
So I went series of tests. After I might have done, at the end of the day, I collected the vaccination
Yes.
for good 3 months. Every day, when in labs, I will go. Is it inheritance? Let me know it. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Mr. Kure for calling in. Still taking your calls. Like I said, let's do this in real time. Let's take your calls in real time. Good evening. Please step away from your radio set. Thank you. Hello.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. You're welcome. Go ahead, please. Your name?
I had this problem of this hepatitis C.
Okay,
It has been
hepatitis C.
there, but presently I'm diabetic, and as of yesterday I had this liver test, but the result has not come out. But I did ultrasound, which tells me that the liver is in irregular, with outline with 12.6 cm, and the other one, the split is illegal, measuring 11.0 cm. So I don't know. They say the liver is having arthritis. Me, I'm having it. So I don't know how this thing comes about.
The liver is having arthritis.
Yeah.
Maybe, well, doctor.
Yeah,
arthritis
I cannot able to eat very well.
Okay.
And I'll be finding a distended stomach at the end of the day. Although the liver function tests and the other ones, because I did it, the other tests were free. Every line of it, protein and all this one, I'm free. But I don't know what actually I can able to do. I'm Luka Ali.
Okay, and thank you so much, Luka. And well, he's gone, but he did say that he's diabetic too, and also struggling with this problem. He talked about all the tests that he'd done, and normal in some instances, but it's showing that he has the Hep C. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You're welcome.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome, sir. Go ahead quickly, please.
You are speaking with that Son of God, a man.
Son of God.
The Son of Almighty God, the Creator of heaven and earth, a man.
Okay.
And you look. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Son of God, so that he will be able to address you when he's giving you the answers. Go ahead, please. What's your question?
Okay. My question is a contribution pertaining the hepatitis B. That hepatitis B, I was once the victim of that hepatitis B. For about 10 years now. I was disturbed seriously going here and there. I went to many hospitals, but they say it has no cure according to the medical line. But so God be the glory. I went for one treatment like this with herb like this, and it has been cured. Before I went to school, they did the test. Before you go to theological school, they must do the test of hepatitis B and HIV also. I did the test. It was negative. I went to a government hospital. I did the test. It was negative. I have done the test in many places. It was negative. Nothing showed. Even the liver function test and all these COCs. I did it. It was negative. So I advise anybody that is sharing and having the problem, as I'm dying of the problem, you come and try God also, because that thing it was very very
Son
serious.
of God. Son of God. So you've been cured. Have you taken the vaccine?
The vaccine for the protection,
Yes, for protection.
Yes, that's what I wanted to. I want to get it now. I've been trying to get it, but I did not take it yet.
That's a dangerous one. Well, let's allow Doctor go quickly because so many calls. Thank you, Son of God. So many calls coming in, Doc. But this man, I would like for you to start, because I was going to ask you about this. A lot of people are claiming now that Hep B is curable. So what exactly is going on? Let's start with Son of God, and then let's go down to. But let's make it quick, because as you can see, so many people want to talk to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I must say that there is nothing God cannot do, but medically, as far as I know, and we've been taught, hepatitis B, there is a progression of this disease. Sometimes once you go to the hospital and you get checked, not hospital per se, you just go to a nearby lab and get checked, and probably you see that they say hepatitis B surface antigen positive. it may be a false positive, maybe, and you go about saying, you are hepatitis B positive, you are this and that. There are several investigations that need to be done. Is that what man of God has done? There are antigens that need to be checked. There is even the hepatitis B viral DNA that needs to be checked using some highly sophisticated investigations, polymerase chain reaction and enzyme link immunosorbent assays that need to be. Once you see those ones, the results coming out, you'll be able to know that, okay, this is a confirmed case of hepatitis B. But if you say you have hepatitis B without symptoms and later you claim it to be cured, I don't know, because as far as we know that once you are positive for hepatitis B, there are treatments that are available for it. We have what we call the nucleoside or nucleotide analogs. In that place, we have the tenofovir and the interferons, pegylated ones, even in the more recent listen. So those are the treatments that are currently available for hepatitis B. However, it was stated that there has been no known cure, but there is, to some greatest level, suppression of this disease, a progression to a more chronic condition. But if you say he's cured from this disease, I don't know, but I will say he should quickly.
What could cause a false positive? What could you be going through, or could you be infected with, that would give a false positive? Like you would go for a test and they would say, "Oh, you are hepatitis B positive."
Well, false positive results could come from different angles. Maybe from analyzing the result from the lab, or how the test is being handled in the lab. All those can cause a false positive result, and you can't say for sure this will be positive because I've been said to be positive. Then you should go for other confirmatory tests, other tests, or you do
because
other
this
tests
man of God said he
contrast.
went, or son of God said he went like 3 different places, and he was first positive and then went 3 different places and he got negative.
Okay, so what if the negative results he got was actually the result he has initially and not the positive? So we can think in that aspect. Was it seen by
3 different places would have positive results in the beginning?
Okay, I will also want to ask if he was reviewed by a gastroenterologist, a medical doctor, or he just went into a random laboratory lab and get himself tested and they say, okay, you're positive, you're positive, you're negative, you're negative. Who actually saw him? Is he a medical doctor or a specialist? Or did he just go to one lab and got that done? But if he says he's positive and later, and in the real sense, he was positive, and he came out later with a test after taking, what they call, is it herbal medication?
Yes, he said herbal medication.
Which in the first place, herbal medications are not even recommended for those that are positive. You know, herbal medication, drugs, some drugs, alcohol. Once they are the care, you have care and help we usually recommend for those with hepatitis virus, because they will tend to complicate the condition. And, tilting the progression towards being a chronic viral hepatitis.
Okay, let's move on quickly to the other questions that we've had.
The other person said, is it Luca? He said he has liver arthritis. I don't think there is anything like liver arthritis, but however, like I've said, some of the prodromal symptoms, early symptoms, you can have some constitutional symptoms that are associated with viral hepatitis, one of which may be arthritis, arthralgia, nausea, vomiting, fever, and all those constitutional symptoms. If that is what it means, then fine. But saying there is arthritis also, I don't get what he actually meant by arthritis.
Having arthritis, but he also talked about being diabetic and having Hep B. Is this a very bad combination?
Well, it is a very bad condition, because hepatitis viruses has been known to serve as comorbidities with other conditions. There are co-infections. You can even have hepatitis B, hepatitis C coexisting. You can have HIV and hepatitis B or C coexisting. And even the hepatitis D we talked about, you will not see hepatitis D without seeing hepatitis B, because the antigen of hepatitis B as the envelope is what the hepatitis D uses as its own surface envelope. So, of course, hepatitis B or C can coexist with the diabetes and even hypertension. So, in that case, it is a more serious condition, and I think he should take his health very serious.
So, Luca, please try to see a doctor, and if you need some direction, I would be glad to give it to you. But we have the Barao Diko Teaching Specialist Hospital, and so you can go there and inquire. I think that's a good place to start. Kure asked you, he talked about being cured of Hep C. And I think Son of God too was talking about where can they go to get the vaccine,
Okay.
to get vaccinated.
Kure being cured for hepatitis C, like I said, their current sustained virological response to some direct acting antiviral agents currently used to actually reduce its progression to chronic disease, or in some cases cure. And in cure we mean there is clearance of most of the hepatitis C RNAs in the blood or in the body. So yes, I agree if he has taken all the necessary medication prescribed by a medical doctor, even though it takes a very long time to treat and it's quite costly, because there are combinations of drugs in hepatitis C treatment. The direct acting antivirals I've made mention of about. We have sofosbuvir and ribavirin and the rest are there for treatment. Even the pegylated interferon, are also there for combination therapy. So once he has gone through this program, I think he talked something about having it for 10 years or thereabout. Probably he must have seen a specialist who would have taken him through all this course of treatment. And of course, in so doing, you'll be lucky to be cured.
So talking about where people can go get vaccinated quickly before we go on a commercial break.
Well, most hospitals has hepatitis B viral vaccine to be given. If you are talking about neonates or children, of course, if you are giving birth to even in the private settings, they have all the doses of hepatitis B viral vaccine in children. You have the first dose at 24 weeks, 6 weeks, first 24 hours of birth. After 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks, you take all the courses. Some comes as a monovalent, while some comes as a pentavalent vaccine, with other diseases like diphtheria, pertussis, and other things. But for adults, also, if you are tested and you've been found negative, even private hospitals, general hospitals, public hospitals, if you go there, they have monovalent hepatitis B vaccines, which will
Is it free?
Courses.
Is it free?
Well, it is not free in most private. I won't say it's free in most private hospitals, but in some public hospitals, general hospitals, yes, you can have it free, and it's just 3 courses, 3 doses you take. First dose, and after a month or 4 weeks, you come for the next dose. And after 6 months, you go for the last dose.
All right, so let's quickly go on a commercial break. When we get back, we'll take more calls from you with Dr. Philip Alexander in the house this evening. Stay with us. All right, we're back with Dr. Philip Alexander in the house, still talking to you about hepatitis. And there are so many things Doc was saying off air that raised my eyebrows, like, so many things. Doc, I think they should hear it from you. I thought that it was only Hep B that could be caught through sexual transmission, but you're telling me that Hep C, just tell the people what you've been saying.
Thank you very much. Yes. It is worthy of note that hepatitis A and E are gotten through fecal-oral route. That means from anal region, what you take to your mouth and all that. So poor personal hygiene and all that could be implicated in those that have hepatitis A and E. However, hepatitis B and C will be gotten, one, through sexual intercourse, will be gotten through multiple sexual partners. It could be also be gotten from mother to child. We call it vertical transmission, when a pregnant woman transmits the virus to the fetus, the growing fetus.
Okay, I remember Kure asking if it's something that can be passed from, is it hereditary?
No, 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 not
Okay.
actually hereditary.
Okay.
But once a woman, a pregnant woman with his baby is positive for hepatitis B or C, can actually transmit it to the developing fetus, not actually a genetic disposition.
Okay.
Okay. Also, those patients with renal transplant or any form of transplant can also patients on hemodialysis that had to be transfused with blood. All these people are susceptible to having hepatitis B or C transmission.
And you were saying something about the infection rate of hepatitis. You said it's
Yes.
it's 100 times
Yes.
more infective
Infectious than
than-
HIV. Hepatitis B is 100 times more infectious than HIV, while hepatitis C is about 10 times more infectious than HIV. So I think we should take hepatitis very serious as a very infectious disease, even more than the HIV that everybody has been,
Talking about.
and, being scared of. I think hepatitis B should be more. You should take it more serious too. And also, I've heard people say whether hepatitis B or C, which is more dangerous, and all that. I believe they are both more. Even hepatitis C is as dangerous as hepatitis B.
That
If you
was
have-
surprising for me
Yes.
because I thought C was
Yes.
lighter, milder
No, it's not
than
like that.
hepatitis
In
B.
short, 80% of those people with hepatitis C progresses into chronic liver disease. 80%
Of those with
of
hepatitis,
those with
yes.
hepatitis C will progress into chronic liver disease or more severe liver conditions like cirrhosis. And that is what everybody is fighting to preventing these viruses to progress into its more complicated states. So hepatitis C too should be taken seriously.
Seriously.
If you have hepatitis B and hepatitis C co-infection, it has been said that you should go after hepatitis C and treat hepatitis C first, because there are drugs now that cures it. So after you must have cured and be sure that there is no viral RNA, then of course you can take care of hepatitis B, because hepatitis B is known not to have any cure. So most of the treatment is just to suppress its progression to a more chronic condition.
Well, at this point, we would like to thank you so much, Dr. Philip. You do remember that we have another segment where we will be talking about the current trends of health today, sponsored by the Kaduna State government, where they are talking to us about the things that are happening. And today we'll be talking about cholera with Dr. Pakachi. In the meantime, we would like to thank you, Dr. Philip Alexander. We hope that we hear if free drives are going on, drives for people to come test and things like that, because I think for us a lot of the time it's about the finance. A lot of people are driven by whether or not I can afford to even do the test.
Yes, exactly. I think there are free tests for hepatitis. Even yesterday in Yusuf Dansoho Memorial Hospital, I saw free hepatitis tests and people crowding that area and doing up test. However, it is also worthy of note that support and care is very important for those that have been diagnosed with hepatitis. We've not talked about diet. It is very important that those that are sure and know that they have hepatitis should take good care of their diet. High protein diet, energy diet is very important. Vegetables, fruits. In short, a highly green vegetable is very, very important for those that have hepatitis. Tomatoes, avocado, oranges, very, very important. However, it is said that you should abstain from fatty foods. I think fatty foods will go on to, cause steatosis and, further cause the liver more problems. So you stay away from all those fatty foods.
Stay away from oils.
Yes.
And go green. More
fruits,
organic.
more organic
yes, vegetables
fruits,
and all of that.
Yes.
Well, thank
the
you.
balanced diet is very important.
Balanced diet, that's a lot of us are not getting. But, I hope that a lot of people will have heeded. I think for us, it's good that all of us start to look towards eating more healthy, stop overboiling our greens and all of that. I hope that we get to see you come back next time. I wish we had gotten a heads up. We would have put out jingles for people to know to go out and get tested at for free at our government hospitals. But there's no harm in going to try. They still might be there, especially if part of your problem is not being able to afford the tests. Dr. Philip, thank you so much for giving us of your time this evening. All right. In a short while, we'll be having Dr. Pakachi, and we will be talking about the current situation as concerns cholera in Kaduna State. Do stay with us.